In the comics, Slaymaster is a very cartoony, Bond-like villain. He has all kinds of over-the-top mechanisms and traps to get Captain Britain or whatever hero in. He feeds people to sharks and stuff like that. So he was a real silly villain often in the comics. However, he was much more than that.
So he's a psycho son of a bitch that loves a bit of bloodshed.
We really wanted to explore him, and I think we dug very deep into his character, wrote a lot of additional elements which aren't that apparent in the comics, certainly not on the surface, and gave him a history and a backstory and made him quite a tragic character.
It was really fun to play because you could just really let loose and go all out.
And it made a lot of sense why Jack and Slaymaster would be friends once they got over the initial thing of trying to kill each other.
He's always ready, you know. If you look at his mannerisms, he's always, you know, he knows where the exit is, he knows where the entrance is. He's thoroughly planned.
In order for Slaymaster to not just be this one-dimensional, silly villain that he often is in the comics, and to bring him into reality and make him a believable character, a torn, conflicted character that the audience could not only identify with but hopefully feel something for, it was going to be necessary to have one hell of a performer take this upon themselves.
I love how he just switches into this maddest character as the camera's rolling, and then is the nicest guy ever as it stops. It's a good contrast.
He's just a law unto himself and his own entity, and I respect that in the man, and I respect that in him as a performer, and the character he's playing embodies that as well.
And I know for a fact that his performance is going to be bad ass.
As the episodes progress, you can see Slaymaster's interests are the same as Union Jack, and they want to take down Axis Mundi because Mundi.
So I'm head of Axis Mundi. Axis. I'm head of Axis Mundi. Oh my God, is that it?
Axis Mundi. You mean Axis Mundi?
So I'm head of Axis Mundi, which is the terrorist organisation, and Simon Cleary's character, Gavin, is trying to put an end to all of our shenanigans. We've been causing some problems, and Slaymaster, he was kind of my and I used to control him, get him to do all my bidding for me. He's, you know, out of my control, which really me off.
It's a very strange position to be in, where you're adapting existing stories and you're working with established characters to try and in some way make that personal or have your own voice or express something throughout that. So there's this weird compromise between staying true to the material and doing your job as an artist of putting yourself into your work. And Axis Mundi, this contemporary terrorist organisation, come in as the new sort of antagonist. And for me, that allowed an element of personal expression. So I looked at Axis Mundi as being the real world, and the vamps are the passion. Jack wants to kill the Baroness. He's obsessed with that. He's doing that with every spare moment and every resource that he has. And then Gavin shows up and says, right, terrorists, you've got to go to work, you've got to do this. And it's very much like I'm working on a project, and then work sends me an email, Mark, can you do this, etc. So Axis Mundi came in to really symbolise reality and those things that you know you've got to do as a responsible adult, but you really don't want to do because you've got this other thing that you really have to do.